Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to be discussing the debt ceiling, specifically in the US, since there was recently a vote in Congress to raise the debt ceiling. I believe it did pass the Senate, so it's in the news a lot, and I just wanted to explain kind of what the debt ceiling was. So, the debt ceiling is the maximum amount of debt that the government is allowed to have at a specific point in time. I'm going to be framing this in terms of the US debt. That's what I'm going to be going over today. So, the debt ceiling itself is imposed on the US government by Congress, and it was first established in 1917. And the first debt ceiling was actually only $11.5 billion. And that sounds like a lot of money, but comparing it to what it is now in 2021 is $28.9 trillion. So quite a bit more than the initial debt ceiling, even adjusted for inflation. That's still quite a bit more. And within those years, it has been changed more than 100 times. So raising the debt ceiling is not an infrequent occurrence. It's happened many, many times. And sometimes it actually decreased. So not all of those over 100 times were increases. Some of them were decreases in the debt ceiling, but usually it would increase over time. And then once the debt ceiling limit is reached, then Treasury can move around funds to continue making interest payments. This only really works for the short term, because for the long term, with all the interest payments coming due that the U.S. has to pay to the bondholders, the Treasury can't just move around funds forever to make those payments. They actually need to basically print more money to continue the debt so they can make those interest payments. And then without that, there is a large risk for a government default if the debt ceiling was not raised and spending continues and interest payments continue. So because of this, the U.S. hasn't defaulted, and the debt ceiling just continues to get raised over and over again. And when the debt ceiling is raised, then the Treasury Department can spend what it wants up to that ceiling. And then once it hits the ceiling, like it is currently now, the ceiling has been reached, which is why there's a vote on it here to raise it, I think, a few $1 trillion. So the new debt ceiling is probably going to be low 30s, I think. If it does pass and get signed by Joe Biden, then it's going to be low 30s, and then the Treasury can continue to spend up to that amount. And then once it reaches that amount again, the bill has to go back to Congress, and then they have to re-sign it for a new debt ceiling. So anyways, yeah, that was just a quick rundown of what the debt ceiling is like in the US. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.